Welcome to the Parody, where we tell it to victims and all our favorite media. I'm not James A. Janice, and today we're looking at the first season of One, created by Cheesy HFJ, which ran from 2020 to 2021. This is our third object show we've had on a Parody, and, well, yeah, you can basically see why. I freaking love this thing. Even though the dedicated fan base may not always listen to the creators' wishes. The show's a little different from your usual object show competition fare, as in it's really not a competition, even though there were challenges for the first few episodes. That idea is dropped for basically half the show, but you still gotta vote some people out in order to eliminate them. And I just wanna hop straight into this right away, so let's get to the kills. The season begins with some really nice shots over San Francisco, in which I got to animate in the reanimation done by Coulson Prod. The first main character we meet is Liam, who's just working here. Someone else there, Owen, tells him that it's already 6:30, so he decides to leave. He gets out his bike and then just starts rolling on towards his home. And if you watch the show, you know what's about to happen, because he just all of a sudden disappears behind a pillar and his bike falls down. Tentacard! And that's the only time I'm gonna say it here. I can't risk it saying it multiple times, but what you're hearing in the background is the intro music, which kind of goes hard and is a great way to segment us into what we're about to see as we go through the show's opening credits. We see a little baby tomato man just playing around with his blocks when he has it just go inside his mouth. The tomato guy named Charlie falls asleep, but all of a sudden is just transported somewhere. This place is the plane where we see a magazine named Taylor, one of those scent things where you put a candle in it named Amelia, a soda bottle named Bryce, a piece of moldy bread named Charlie, who is having an argument before she got teleported over here, and then Liam, a backpack who we already met. And then the ear-deafening sound we're hearing is someone named Ari, who probably transported them over here. And yeah, they're being hosted in a competition show called One. And as to be expected, everyone here doesn't even know how they got here for any reason. Apparently One is an acronym because Liam asks the host what it stands for.
Yeah, it stands for...
Where are we?
Never knew this show had relations to that object invasion jam. Later, Ari just smashes a table onto the ground where some papers fall down, which reveal their new names for the competition. It's based off entirely what their characters' names are, and it's what they have to refer to each other as throughout the show. Yo, Bryce, what if I tell you that we're fighting for a prize? Literally anything you could ever wish for. It's time for the show's first challenge to start, where they all have to walk backwards as pillars fall down and... Wait, Charlie, watch out!
Tomato, get out of there!
Yeah, the child just got impaled off screen for our first kill. It's obviously a shock to Liam and the rest of the cast, who quickly discover that Charlie's happily been recovered. Liam's super confused on why Charlie's back, but Ari says that they can recover anybody, yay. The challenge this episode is to don't hit the ground from these big wooden stakes, and if they do, they'll be up for elimination. Ari's all sick of these heated arguments between every single contestant on the show, and teleports them all up there immediately. Oh, hey Charlie, what's up? I hope you're falling to your death. And boom, Charlie's our second kill of the count, and oh, seems like he's the third now, and looks like he's disqualified. Or just up for elimination. Realizing the risk of elimination, they all try their best in order to stay on their pillars. Liam loses control and accidentally jumps onto Bryce's pillar. The rest of this first episode is basically them trying not to fail the challenge. Parts include Liam losing more control, Amelia trying to stay on with her yoga skills, Charlotte and Taylor having a background argument, Liam somehow losing even more control, till we finally get to some stuff I can, talk about. All three of them are gone. Looks like Liam, Bryce, and Amelia are just falling down and trying not to lose. The second person up for elimination is Liam, who broke his leg. Also, before that, Amelia just shattered, so she's also going on this little count thing. And obviously Bryce is safe. Amelia gets recovered, so she runs over to Liam in order to see what happened. Yeah, he pretty much just broke his leg. Not a common object show injury. Obviously something for a baby to laugh at. After this episode's credits scene, we see some whipped cream just disappearing. Short while after that, Liam wakes up to people freaking out. He tries to get up, but however, his leg is broken. However, Ari quickly provides a cast. First of all, he has to painfully straighten out his leg and then put the cast on, to which the cast is in some more obvious shock. Ari also provides crutches, but that go to shit. At this point, Liam's just glad he's not dead. Speaking of dead, where did Charlie go? Oh, he just got eliminated. Okay. However, this is quite interesting, as this marks one of the only times in a viewer voting based show where a character gets eliminated due to concern rather than personality. Although being a viewer voting based show, when it had a contestant vote, Paper Puppets Take Two took the personality route when Chainsaw eliminated Bubble Wrap. God, that show is great. After getting the elimination done with, Ari announces new contestants, to which the old contestants are basically just arguing with Ari over. Quickly thereafterwards, the subway seat drops onto the ground and just stands there menacingly. And then boom, we get one! Taylor's the only one to walk up to the new subway seat, in which she's in confusion over. But she didn't expect some cream and a base. And oh, what's the deal with airline food? Two more objects appear, a contact lens and a school tray. However, again, much to their shock, the subway seat decides to grow 2 eyes and arms, and quickly everyone else grows the exact same features they need to survive. Contact lens is the last one to do so, probably like a full 20 seconds after everyone else. Ari tries to give a quick summary, but Charlotte quickly interrupts to tell them that they're being held hostage in the plane. But strangely enough, the new contestants seem to be into the idea, much to the chagrin to Amelia. And Whippy Creamy's been in a fridge all day. Many interactions come for this from Trey and Amelia, Trailer and Basie, Whippy Creamy and Bryce, and finally Liam and Subway Seat, which leads to a pretty epic montage of how they just disappeared from a red shirt guy, some woman on a bed playing it until it just disappears. Okay. Airline food just magically disappearing out of somebody's hands. Trey being, you know, teleported. A guy with contact lens being put out of his eye and causing him to get a 97. And finally, Whippy... Oh wait, yeah, he disappeared last episode. After the newbies get organized, we got our next challenge involving child murder stakes. Climb up to the top of one of the 6 poles. Charlotte gets started right away, along with airline food, while Taylor and Subway Seat just start talking. Hey, at least starting really causes you to get the first safe spot. Bryce is angry about how Ari's bringing more people into the competition. Hey, we could just leave Amelia to her own devices. Bryce comes back saying that he should have just brought more people here too, who wanted to actually compete, but, you know, Ari just wants to ignore all of that.
Come on, the challenge isn't that hard.
Liam strikes back saying how he doesn't have any legs, and Amelia comes in and says that we're not doing the challenge, so Ari just wants to make it easier. I don't think shrinking all the pillars would do all that much. Also, Subway Seat's trying to figure out how to walk with his arms. However, Whippy Creamy did make it up. They're giving us a wiki pose. Airline food did it too, yeah. However, winds are brewing around the plane. Not good for people like Taylor, who are made out of paper and casually just fly away. But here, for compensation, have Trey making it up there successfully. Contact lens is light though, so he's just flying up in the air without any help. However, with one of the stakes being lowered to the point where it's basically standing on the ground, Liam decides that, hey, this may as well be fair game, and gives himself immunity. However, you two, bickering doesn't matter, so, you know what, they may as well give themselves immunity too, as both Bryce and Amelia put hands and feet on the stake. Oh no guys, watch out, there's only one safe spot left. However, it looks like Basie gets the final safe spot. which means the airborne lens, the flat-out paper, and the subway seat are up for elimination. In this episode's post-credits scene, we see that Charlie's been transported over to his room, and then he sleeps. The next episode we have here is the longest episode of the season, running about 15 minutes. Although I will have to dock around 20 seconds due to it being a recap of the last episode. We get right back to it as Whippy Creamy helps Subway Seat get up. However, snoozing isn't allowed, just get up. Although she was into the competition a few hours before, Taylor doesn't even want to be here anymore. However, I got some good news for her, as while she's saying her big sentence, she gets eliminated right in front of Amelia's eyes. And with this episode's elimination being done with, we can get to the next part of the competition. Of course, it's adding more contestants to the competition, starting with Texty, along with their
Carnitas.
Along with the
Carnitas.
We get a 3D folder.
Hello, my name's Folder. I can help you with all of your regular daily computer needs. I've got songs, documents, images, videos, and can answer such questions as, what's the weather like? What was the score?
After folder, it's basically just a piece of abstract stuff, obviously named Abstracty. The main gimmick is that Abstracty can turn into basically pretty much anyone with abstract art. And they will come in use later. Next contestant to be introduced is Stone. He's a stone. A group of circles chase after the eliminated contestant Circle with a Mole until they stop. They're all flabbergasted on where Circle with a Mole went as they can't see him. Well, Circle with a Mole actually got teleported to the plane. He looks like an O, how about we want him? I forgot the molecular scale atom that he put in, so yeah. Stone goes over to Bryce and tries to warn him about something. So Stone has to push him out of the way. The warning thing in question was a cassette player that's falling to the ground at a rapid rate, and boom. So now with all 16 and still in the game contestants here, that means we can split up into teams. The first 3 team members we're aware of are Stone, Liam, and Bryce. Amelia tries to join in the team, but Stone says no girls allowed. Let me get off topic for a second and just get some history in. I can do what I want with this one episode, okay? As stated in an interview by Trubactor, the idea of the show originated in 2019. It's also stated in an interview how he wanted to make it different and like how the characters didn't want to be there.
This like desire within me to be kind of like contrarian and like kind of go against all this stuff of object shows like beforehand.
I'll leave a link to that interview in the description. So Liam, Bryce, Texty, and Stone make up the first team. However, Amelia eyes a nearby team possibility and decides to try to be on a team with Trey, Basie, and Contact Lens. She succeeds and the second team is fully formed. Charlotte asks Circle if she and him want to be on a team, but Circle tries to say no and gives a full in-depth description of the battle for Circle. However, he quickly gives in after learning the prize. Subway Seat and Whippy Creamer are searching for a team right now, and they haven't found one. And after 10 minutes, they finally decide to join Charlotte and Circle's team. That means Adam, Abstracty, Folder, and Airline Food are on a team. The incredible challenge for this episode is to run to the tree and back. So now all the teams are hard at work trying to find a way to get to the trees and back. However, Texie decided to spam the letter A just to get there. So that means Liam's team is safe. However, Stone has a different idea and decides to kidnap Contact Lens and run away with him. However, he throws the Contact Lens back before Amelia can get him. And whatever. Let's just say that Charlotte's team is safe too. So that means Abstracty, Airline Food, Folder, and Adam are all up for elimination in this episode. This one post-credits scene revolves around Amelia, Bryce, and Liam. She's pretty mad about how Stone basically kidnapped Contact Lens and ran away. However, Texie didn't know that Amelia wanted their team to lose. Hey, look at Stone, huh? Hey, little single cell shots of grass that go on for 30 seconds. In fact, can we run that piece of grass? Hey, look at that little cool guy. That piece of grass is knocked over by Liam. Abstracty here is just wilding out, so we're just here to look at them. Abstracty quickly turns into... What is that? Is that a lamp? Sorry, I can't tell, and I can't spoil. This episode's challenge is simple. make a drawing with a post-it note in 5 minutes. Stone begins to write a whole bunch of things on these falling notes. However, they end up all being a random assortment of numbers. Meanwhile, on Airline Food's team, Adam quickly gets to work on writing some notes. Stone quickly runs over to every other team while we get intercuts of what they're doing. However, it was just to get the contact lenses team. Stone's here again, but Amelia doesn't want any of it. Stone quickly dashes over to Liam, and with notes in hand, he sticks them into Liam. And time is up. Circle's team and Airline Food's team are safe bets, but, you know, Amelia and Liam, yeah, their teams are not safe bets. However, since Amelia's team still has their sticky notes, they're safe. And Amelia starts getting mad, like, really mad. She's arguing that Ari could see them drawing on their notes, but he says he didn't see it. Now, to everyone watching, that is complete and utter bullcrap, since, you know, he could have very obviously seen them drawing on their notes. And it's also very obvious that he's trying to keep Amelia's team safe, even though they all want to be eliminated. And what I'll play in a second is a part of that very valid argument.
Ari, are you blind? That's all they've been doing this entire time. It baffles me how unbelievably incompetent you are. How hard is it to understand that you've separated us from our livelihoods to play this maniacal excuse of a game show, just to torture us and keep us from living a life you clearly don't have?
Her very valid argument is drowned out by the credits playing over it. She has a valid argument. Ari did get 6 people from their regular lives and made them play in this game show. Sure, 2 people of the original 6 have been eliminated, but that still doesn't excuse anything. They are all very much being psychologically tortured. Stone proceeds to write many more notes after the challenge is already ended. He very frantically writes more notes as time goes on, and then he disappears, and all the notes just drop to the ground. It's revealing that all the votes are fake, and that they all have no control. Hey guys, this has to be episode 4, right? It's the exact same opening. Nah, cards come down spelling out the name of the show and giving us another 1 card! We get started with the episode's challenge right away, and it's to do 100 push-ups. Since the previous day, Amelia has been feeling quite better, so it's time for them to do nothing again. For Adam's theme, he has a plan, just to tell Ari that, hey, we did it. However, Whippy Creamy's team is the only one actually doing the challenge with Charlie doing all of her push-ups. It appears she got that strong through spelunking. Hopefully there weren't any bad Wii game curses. This gives us our only hint at a moldless Charlotte, down in a cave with one of her pre-1 friends. It's why a piece is missing out of her, because she won't wear a helmet, and why she has all that mold on her head, because of some fungi. This first half is basically her backstory, and if you want to read more, I'll link her one wiki page in the description. She continues doing more push-ups until the dissolve brings us into Ari, telling everyone who's won the challenge and who will be up for elimination. Liam and Amelia's teams are both up for elimination, which brings a whole sense of euphoria to everyone else, because they were just trying to lose, so Amelia could be sent back home. And good for her, except that no spoilers. Here's the beginning of the next half. Oh, carrots and a thing I won't think about and I won't say. Pre-1 Charlotte, just in her apartment trying to do her own things. Her spelunking friend Parker has come in to check on her. They've given her a whole lot of her own money, but here she's bought a flat screen TV. And even a new phone, which basically costs upwards of $2,000. They gave it to her for her mold treatment, but she's obviously decided to spend it on other stuff. Then they spark up an argument.
$25,000, man. That's $25,000 of my money down the drain. Wait till everyone else hears you spent all of theirs, too.
He quickly decides to apologize, but to Charlotte, that just won't cut it.
Oh, of course, now you're apologizing. Oh, I'm so sorry. Give me my money back. I'm sorry.
The episode then cuts to black, which basically ties this to episode 1. As in that episode, she was continuing her apology rant. Thankfully for episode 6, I can actually discern the intro as it begins with a hot beaming sun. Amelia's non-human team members are talking about how their humans would be happy when they get back. When it gets to Amelia, she's been thinking about her friends and family, and it sounds like she really wants to help them. So when Aerie says it's time to eliminate someone, she gets really hoped up, but Amelia, I have some really sad news. Texty gets eliminated this time, and she falls down to the ground in a 1. That is devastating for her. She really wanted to get back home, but as Aerie continues this little game of his, keeps on disappointing everyone. She just straight up bursts into tears in front of Liam and Bryce and just hugs and crying and smiling and whatever emotions are going through her head. However, Aerie just hates emotional scenes. It just drops a giant hollow oak stump and just fills some water into it. And the next challenge is to stay afloat in the hollow oak stump full of water. Amelia and Bryce tried to tear off Liam's cast, but it's too late. They all get dumped into the water. Obviously, with the cast still on his leg, Liam can't swim back up to the surface of the water. Amelia quickly notices and begins swimming down to save Liam. Liam then begins to start drowning and quickly reaches out for Amelia's hand, but his hand starts falling and he quickly succumbs to the depths of water. So yes, Liam did in fact die from drowning, as he had succumbed to the depths of water and the screen went black with muffled hearing. So this is where I'll count him as dead. He's now stuck in a blank hollow room where when you step in it, it's water with 2 chairs, a table, and what appears to be a radio. It's then confirmed to be a place where you have to wait to be recovered by Aerie, and Liam completely slumps to the ground with Amelia and Bryce worried, and that's where we cut to the voting screen with Liam and Bryce both up for elimination, and that's where the episode ends. Amelia's being covered by white since she's not up for elimination, and I just can't go on. So yes, at this rate, it's basically confirmed to be a game where the contestants, as in human object contestants, get psychologically, mentally, and psychologically tortured by the host Aerie. After that last episode, I don't even want to cover this one fully, so to give you just a general rundown of what happens, we see Bryce and his stuff at the beginning. Aerie makes clouds. The challenge is to throw your rock inside of that giant hollow wooden log. Amelia and Bryce get some form of anxiety, and Amelia sacrifices her own team just so she can put Liam up for elimination because he really needs to get back home. I'm feeling a lot better after that just simple recap, so I'm actually going in to do this episode. The elimination gets started, but we hear over the mic that something has broken. And since later it cuts to 5 months after that, and since Aerie isn't even here until the last minute of the episode, which is, spoiler alert, 7 months later, I'll just say here that this is Aerie's definitive death this season, as he doesn't come back for 7 months. Although this does confirm some things, as we hear a sound of what I think is glass breaking, we can assume that Aerie has some glass on him. And also, I've watched the second season. Also, if he doesn't die, I'll correct this in the comments. So, don't tell me about all that stuff in the comments if he confirms it in the comments. So anyways, Liam gets up from his spot on the plane and just starts walking into the distance. He does this until we see a plug right next to that 1, 4, and 5 piece of grass. The camera then starts rotating outside of that to reveal that this is just a planet being controlled by Aerie with some shades of gray next to it. We then get a time card that says 5 months later on it, which then dissolves into showing us 100 on it, suggesting an amount of shifts. Everyone here has become pretty content with their life on the plane so far, because to them, if Aerie's not there, then there's no problems at all. And I know they still might want to come back to their lives on Earth, but I mean, they've been pretty content these past 5 months without Aerie, so it's a safe assumption to make. It's basically a nothing episode, basically just to kind of give us a break from all the emotional turmoil that's been going on. It also gives us a look at Charlotte, and it appears that her mold's been getting worse. And it also appears that within these past 5 months, they've somehow managed to pull down all the wooden stakes from those very first challenges. And it appears getting this last one down was a success. He's now back at that charging point that he was at, and getting in more stakes of anxiety, he tries to get it all open up by throwing a lot of stuff at it, just trying to punch and scratch it, but ultimately, it doesn't work. So unlike toppling all those wooden stakes, it wasn't a success. 2 months later, it appears everything's going normal to everyone as Liam and Amelia are hanging out. But that quickly ends when they hear Aerie, who's been gone for the last 7 months, and probably confirming that he's revived himself. This episode ends with a nearly minute-long shot of the plug, and that's how the penultimate episode ends. And yes, I say penultimate. This season's about to end. Welcome to the finale, the only episode, I believe, in Object Show history that does not have any of the main characters actually speaking. And they're all coming up just to see Aerie get eliminated from 1. And yes, he is eliminated, placed on the exact same spot on the Golden Gate Bridge where he got teleported to the plane. Obviously, it's more traffic-filled than it was before, showing us how much time has passed. The entire episode is set to a silent rendition of Scatterbrain from Radiohead, as suggested by the episode's title.
Stockton is going to be a nice 65 today, and over in Livermore it's going to be a cool 53 degrees, so be extra sure to wear a jacket. Moving into the Bay Area, we're actually going to see some hail. Actually, the first time San Francisco is...
That right there is seriously your only piece of dialogue from anybody. Liam picks up a piece of missing persons paper, only to get devastated in shock of what it was. Him. And from what that weather suggests, it's probably been at least 10 to 12 months since Liam has been reported missing. The entire episode is basically dedicated to Liam as he goes and looks at everything he's been missing out on. He then realizes that he has the notes and quickly looks through them. Stone, Aerie, and probably the most important to us here, well, San Francisco? No, that was not important. As the hail quickly picks up and even lightning appears, Liam has less time to look through all of his notes, so you better get to that, buddy. He then starts looking through even more. So he picks up the San Francisco note and reveals Bryce's address, in which that's where the season ends. Just showing us a shot of Liam looking up. Whew, it's about time to be done with season 1. I'll get to season 2 soon enough, but come on, let's rest on this emotional turmoil and get to the numbers. But hey, could someone tell me how many minutes are remaining in this episode again? by my personal count, 6 people died in the first season of 1, with the victims consisting of 5 males and only a single female, which gives us this pie chart that looks like the color of the sky. You know, the things with all of those airy particles and other stuff. Compared to other object shows I have covered so far, 1 has had the least amount of deaths, followed by Object Terror Episode 5 and BFB, which had 12 and 144 respectively. With the season's runtime of 86 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 14 and a third minutes. I'm giving the Amethyst Flamethrower to Liam. What else could it possibly go to? It's so scary and heartbreaking, and yeah, I love it! And since all the other deaths in the season were good in their own ways, with Charlie's being the worst, but you know, that's not getting the broken pistol. So obviously, none of them are getting the broken pistol. And that's it. The first season of 1 was released throughout 2020 and 2021. And definitely made the show grow in popularity. I'll look at the second season some other time. But until then, I'm not James A. Janice. And as always, this has been the Parody.